it could be up to $6.5 trillion. I'll be done with all these things of begging others for our development. Let's develop with pride.
I couldn't agree with you more, my brother. I couldn't agree with you. I mean, you've just said what should be said on top of rooftops by everybody. We're not a poor continent. We must change the narrative. Africa is not the poor continent. It's not the desperate continent. It's not the continent of disease and poverty. We need a different, we are a wealthy continent. And we need to properly value our assets. And I agree with you, 1/3 of the world's sequestration of carbon is in this continent. The world's sequestering 30 billion gigatons of CO2. And we're getting nothing for it. And we're getting no value for it. It's not in our books. It's not in our asset register, right? We have 60% of the world's renewable assets. We have 60% of the world's solar potential. It is not in our asset book. And that is why we are classified as being this rich when we are that rich. So what we are saying is we are going to drive a new narrative for the African continent. It is our responsibility to do it. Some people may not be happy with it. That's their problem. We're going to do it because it is our place. It is in our place to profile our assets positively. And that is the reason why on Friday, a few hours before I came to open this youth conference, I signed into law the carbon market law in Kenya, where we are going to profile our carbon assets properly. We're not going to take peanuts. It's not going to be $10. It's going to be it's not going to be $1. It's not going to be what Adesina was saying. We are going to have a carbon market that is priced at world prices. And that's how we're going to trade. Our carbon assets must count for our assets. It must count for the correct values. It is the reason why in the same bill, I made sure that the Climate Council that will be in charge is front and center, has youth representatives, because they are our future. They are the people who have the greatest stake in our future. And if we do not manage climate change, it will destroy the future of our countries and put at risk the future of our young people. Adesina, Mr. President, you have our support. We will do this together. And I want to challenge the young people who are here. Listen, you are the biggest asset that not just Africa, but the globe has. The president, for example, of Germany came to Kenya 2 months ago, and he asked me directly, we need 250,000 young people to work for us in Germany. Right? That's our asset. So you are the biggest asset, not just for our countries, but for the globe. That's why I was saying the young people we have in this room and those outside this room are the asset that we have. You will form 25% of the global workforce. You will become 40% of the global workforce by 2050. And therefore, you need to appreciate your place in this equation. And that is why you need to be part of this conversation. And we're going to work with you. I have undertaken the request you have made that the youth aspect must not just be on the periphery. It must be part of the conversation. And I'm going to take it to the AU that every AU discussion must have youth representatives. I want you to prepare yourselves. I know we have a youth champion, the president of Burundi. We are in discussion with him, and we are going to make sure that the next summit of the Africa Union must have youth, not as being attendees or in the periphery, but with a statement on what they think AU should do, what they think AU should represent as we go into the future, because you are the greatest asset. Secondly, let me ask you, as the young people of our continent, to help us break the barriers of countries and borders of countries that has allowed inefficiencies, that has promoted corruption and impunity in our countries, denying this continent the huge potential that we have. Young people, with the technology that we have, with the communication that we have, with the social media that has broken barriers, we can form one huge movement that will transform our continent and unlock the potential that Africa represents. I hope you take up that challenge and provide that leadership. We will work with you.
Mr. President, I think one of the biggest opportunity we have right now is actually within the context